Hello, I'm Katie Haldeman, Senior Project Manager on the Accelerating Restoration Team at Sustainable Conservation. In the previous videos in this series, I described the key elements of the HRE Act and the Section 1653, or 30-day application process. Now in this video, I will explain the Section 1652, or 60-day application process. For the 60-day, or 1652, process, an applicant does not have a water board Section 401 General Order for Small Habitat Restoration Projects, or SHRP, Notice of Applicability, NOA, in hand. Because of this, there are additional information requirements in the 1652 application. Given the additional information needed in the application as compared to the other process, the Act allows the Department 60 days for review. Now, one of the key features of the HRE Act is that it's a front-loaded application process, which makes you provide the necessary information required by the law in your initial submittal, rather than DFW staff having to do extensive back and forth requests for information. This front-loaded application process requires you to provide complete applications, but allows for an expedited approval process. Make no assumptions with the DFW reviewer's background knowledge on the project, and provide a clear rationale for the design choices that you have made, particularly those that have temporary or permanent impacts, as well as the environmental benefits of the project. Although not required, we strongly recommend a pre-application meeting to get feedback from DFW regional staff on your project's design and environmental protection measures, so you can prepare a complete application with sufficient technical detail. As part of DFW's review, they will evaluate whether enough information has been submitted to adequately describe the project, as well as how the project will avoid or minimize potentially significant impacts. This application requires environmental protection measures be built into the project description. Applications submitted to DFW must include a final design, 90% or better, and contain all appropriate environmental and species protection measures, along with revegetation, water quality protection, monitoring and reporting plans, and other details, so the reviewer can determine the application to be complete and eligible. You must link your project to existing manuals or guidance documents, or prior approved permits. Examples include the California Sunline and Stream Habitat Restoration Manual, NIMS Fish Passage Guidelines, species recovery plans, or protection measures from a biological opinion, and more. This helps demonstrate the legitimacy of the project, so reference the specific sections and page numbers of the manuals and documents you are following to design your project. If your design varies from the standard guidance, provide a detailed explanation of how and why it does. An exhaustive list of protection measures is not needed. However, you must demonstrate sufficient measures are in place to avoid and minimize potentially significant impacts. If a project is not covered under an existing CEQA document and qualifies for a CEQA Class 33 exemption, it is recommended that the sponsoring agency file a notice of exemption under the appropriate categorical exemption, with findings supporting the use of the exemption. A key element of a CEQA exemption is demonstrating that sufficient environmental protection measures are in place to avoid and minimize potentially significant impacts. DFW staff will be reviewing the application for this information. The Department's current interpretation of the law is that there is discretionary decision-making involved in the case of this process. With that, DFW chooses to file a CEQA Notice of Exemption for some projects under this section. Let's talk about monitoring. There is a monitoring element of the Act. However, it's important to note that you can submit monitoring plans and reports that you provided to other agencies, including those from the Water Board, NOAA, or other permits, in lieu of a new plan and report for DFW. In the event a project does not have monitoring required by other agencies that you choose to provide in the HRE Act application, there are requirements as part of the Act that largely revolve around implementation monitoring. That is, did you do what you said you were going to do to implement the project design and associated protection measures? There are questions within the 1652 application to ensure you provide the information required by the Act. Fees for the HRE Act follow the current 1602 LSA fee schedule, including restoration projects that might involve incidental take under CESA, meaning there's no additional fee for Section 2081. First, you submit your application to the DFW headquarters. They review it for completeness and send it to the staff at the regions to perform a technical review, with the HRE Act coordinator helping it through the process. Under the 1652 process, the region recommends headquarters approve or deny the project, or consider the application incomplete. After the director reviews the request, you will be notified of the outcome. The review process runs through headquarters in part to maintain HRE Act consistency across all the regions, as habitat restoration and species recovery are state priorities. You can contact us for technical assistance at restoration@suscon.org, but before doing so, we recommend that you read our detailed guidance document for preparing HRE Act applications, which can be found on the Technical Resources page of our website. The document includes general information and recommendations, as well as answers to frequently asked questions. This is a living document. We continue to update it as additional questions arise, and we encourage you to let us know if you think updates should be made. For more information, you can reach us at restoration@suscon.org, or you can call or email the HRE Act coordinator in Sacramento. Thanks for watching.